Hi, this is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle. You can see by the frame of this picture, we're working on a very large reel today. We're going to be working on the Shimano TLD 2-speed 50. The TLD is Triton lever drag. This is a beast of a reel. Some of them are actually called Beastmasters. This one's actually working nicely. Robert brought it in. He would like me to change out the drag. He's telling me that the drag is skipping on it. So we're going to show you how to do that. I ordered a replacement drag, and boy, they're not inexpensive at all. And well, we'll show you how to do that, and in the process we'll explain to you what you need to do a full service on this reel. And I've been a little bit ahead here in that I've done some of the servicing on this one to determine that the drag was not doing well. So let's start by taking this reel apart. I'm going to remove the non-gear side plate. This is an interesting one because it has a solid side plate on the gear side, so you wouldn't remove that, couldn't remove that if you wanted to, I guess, unlike the other reels. When I take my pieces and parts off, they go into a parts tray, and I always find this a convenient time to ask you to subscribe to my channel if you like to watch reels being serviced. If you like to see the variety of reels that come into my shop for repair and service, if you like to learn about fishing reels and the fishing industry, I do everything from the very old to the very new fishing reels. And well, we try to just make it a place where you can learn about the reels, learn how to repair them, maybe develop the hobby of reel repair if that's something that you would like to do, and well, just keep you informed about what's going on in and about that. Well, again, you want to take the screws out, and when you take those screws out, I hope you have a plan for what you're going to do with it. Parts management. I do. I use a tray. This is my tray, and those enable me to keep track of those pieces and parts when they come out. I think I've got them all out there. Yep, there were 6. Here's the back end of your reel, and there's nothing there. There's a form in the back here that's going to hold the spool. And a little bit of dust in here, I guess. Salt residue, maybe. Click mechanism. All you have to do with this is just a little bit of oil into the slot for that. There's nothing here. There's no bearings or anything. That's just going to be the anchor for the back end of the spool. To remove the spool, which is where the drag washer is, we're going to want to remove this lever drag assembly. To do that, you take your preset adjuster and you back that out in a counterclockwise manner, and eventually it will screw out all the way. I found that I was just turning the axle shaft, so I had to go back and hold the axle shaft. And if you're wondering why the glove is on my hand, I like to keep the contaminants off my hand, and a good way to do that is the glove. It's a good place to tell you to take the pictures. There's a couple of things going on here. We took the arm off. There is a washer. It blends right in with the case, but there is a hard washer there. Then there's the preset stud here, and we'll show you how to set that later. And then of course there's the spring and there's the knob. With that removed, we can remove our spool. And now we'll tell you a little bit about how to service the reel, which has been, well, recently serviced. There is a gear structure in here. Here's that hard washer. Turn it upside down and it will fall out. If you need to service the reel, you do it by removing the screw that's holding the handle shaft and that on. Then you can pull your 2 gears, you can clean them, re-grease them, and insert them. You have a gear here. Try and get it out. Without much success. Can't grip it. This is your pinion gear. And when you go to install, the easiest way to install the pinion gear is to put it into the spool side, and rather than trying to mesh the spool cavity with that. Alright, so we said this one's all about replacing that drag washer. That drag washer is inside the pressure plate assembly. And well, before I do that, I want to see if I can't have another rubber band here because the filament is running out on me here. Okay, Shimano at least tells you which way to go. It says to unscrew, you're going to turn this as if you were tightening, and it's usually just hand tightened. So go ahead and pull that off. When it comes loose, remove that retainer ring. Then this is our pressure plate assembly. We have a ball bearing, a spring, and another ball bearing underneath. This is a 4 ball bearing reel. Those are 2 of them. There's one underneath the cover here. Again, serviced previously. And this is the worn drag washer that needs to be replaced. So in order to do that, we're going to pull that drag washer out of there. You can see we've got some residue probably left over from that washer itself. Let's clean all of that up. Oil the ball bearing, oil the shaft. We can actually put the spring back on, do the same thing here with the second ball bearing. And well, let's go to that new drag washer. These things run about $30, $35. They're not inexpensive at all. They have a hard backing on it, and they have the drag face on it. You can see between the two the wear on them. So this is going to get replaced. There's 4 tabs. These align with the slots. You press it down to make sure that it's all the way in and seated against the face. Doesn't take much to do that. And again, it doesn't take much to service these reels. I don't know why a lot of folks think that the lever drags are hard. I think if there's a reason why the lever drags are hard is that, well, in reseating it and getting that preset adjustment correct. All right, pressure plate goes back on. If you had any questions, wipe it clean. Again, I've been inside this reel already. Wipe it clean. Bring the pressure plate over. Now, remember we screwed that as a reverse thread, so we've got to, when we unscrewed it, so we need to go back in a counterclockwise manner to set this. Again, hand thread. And a lot of times, because it's plastic into metal, it doesn't necessarily thread properly the first time. Just keep an eye on it. This is hand tightened. You don't go any more than hand tighten with this one. And we can take this, bring this in. Again, I prefer to have that pinion gear on the spool side. No matter what I do with this, I just can't seem to get this thing to stay underneath there. And why am I concerned about that? It gets trapped in the case. All right, find your post. That's going to merge into the back end when we put the side plate on. Make sure your pinion gear is in all the way, and then just bring the assembly in. And simple enough. When you go to install the side plate in the back, it's going to be parallel to the reel seat. Your posts are going to be parallel to the reel seat. So just bring it up a little bit, just like that. Bring your plate on. And if you need to, spin the reel and you'll feel it hold in. And make sure that your seam for your reel is nice and tight. If you're fighting this in any way, stop. Something is not merging right. I've seen a lot of folks bring things into the shop that, well, they tried to force. Force isn't a good answer. All right. I had to reset the alignment on that. It should be good now. And if I got to say one thing about the servicing of this, it's tiring on the hands. There's 6 screws. They've got a relatively long shank on them. And, well, you can fatigue your hands. So if you have issues with your hand strength, if you want to use a mechanical screwdriver, go ahead and do that, but don't tighten it down with that. Just kind of bring it in 3/4 of the way. Put it on a slow speed, and then when you get to that last 2 or 3 turns, come back and use your hand driver for that. These are graphite cases, and you don't want to risk snapping them or putting undue tension on them, which could cause the reel to perform badly. Okay, just moving around on this. So you didn't miss anything here in terms of the full service of the reel. You can remove that back screw, which I did earlier, and pull out your gears to clean them and lubricate them. Don't even have to take the drive side arms off of that. It's kind of fun, but it's a molded case, and you can't get in from that side. Now, other versions of this reel, you can take that front drive side off. This one you can't. All right, bring this in. One more at the top here, I think. Play hide and seek to find out which one's missing. And then we'll show you the other part of it, which is where a lot of folks go wrong with this reel. It's in resetting that preset. This one's pretty straightforward, but others maybe not so much. Okay, I think I got them all done there. I do. Now let's come over to this side now. So here's the preset on this. You have a nut here that never gets removed. Don't put a wrench on there. Don't try to pull it. That's not going to cooperate. You could damage the reel. All right, this is the front side of it. This is the back side. The back side has got a click mechanism on it. It's going to rub against these little serrated edges here. This has a little hook on it here, a beak. So you need to bring it in over the top and then seat it down and put it over in the free spool. So you can see how this rim is inside that beak, and you can't see, but underneath here, that little metal adjuster is in the on that little track with the serrated edges. All right, on this side we have 2 hills 180 degrees across from each other. Notice where your valleys are. They're over here, and that's how you need to line this up for your free spool. And you'll know, and this one just fell into place, but a lot of times people don't understand that. They just kind of haphazardly put it somewhere else, and well, you just run into trouble with that. One big spring, and our free spool adjusting knob. Press down, get it started. Now when you adjust your lever drag reel, you need to pull in. This one's got quite a bit of movement in it. Okay, this one was put in, so you should have a free turning reel. Then go up and check. Well, you don't have much tension now, moving that at all. Okay, now we're starting to grab. So it still needs adjustment because that's the second strike. Bring it back to your free spool position before you do any adjustment. Don't do it in midway. You could damage the reel. Just quarter turn, something like that. Again, spin it to make sure you have the free spool. Bring it up for your first strike. That's probably still too loose. Second strike seems to be stronger. Bring it back another turn or two, and just play with it until you have what you like as that first strike. There you go. That's probably the right one. You can still turn it, but it's got a lot of tension on it. And then the second strike or max drag completes the process. So that's how you set your arm, your lever arm, the little preset adjuster cam, and then of course the adjuster knob with the spring. Well, it's not that hard to work on these reels, but you need to know what you're doing, and you need to know what you're looking to accomplish. In this case, we knew it was a slipping drag washer. That made it kind of easy. The only shock with all of that was the pricing on that drag washer in the $30 range. But if that's what you need, that's what you need, and this reel's ready to go fishing again. Robert goes and does tuna fishing with it. This one's ready for the season to go. Well, I hope you've enjoyed that little look inside the reel, little kind of coaching through how to service the reel, showed you how to take this apart, how to replace the drag washer in it, and had a conversation about how to remove those gears to complete the cleaning and the servicing of this reel. Before I leave, I want to thank our police, fire, safety, and rescue, and all of the folks responsible for our well-being. I also want to thank you, the viewer, for watching the channel, for commenting on the videos, for keeping this channel vibrant. Again, if you haven't subscribed, I want to recommend that you do subscribe, and thank you in advance for that. This is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle, wishing everybody a great day.